That makes everything visible. This is why it is said, "Wake up, O sleeper, rise from the dead, and Christ will shine upon you." Why should we walk in light? Because God is a light, and in him there is no darkness at all. And what is that light? It is the light of God's righteousness. It is the light of God's holiness. It is the light of reality. Have you ever been caught in a sin that you have justified, and then suddenly somebody comes along and says, "I saw you do that," and they rebuke you, and instantly you know to the depths of your being that you have been deceived and sinful, because reality has come to you, you see. And there are many people who do not accept reality. They do not live because they've lived with so long with rationalizations and with such a sense of denial that only God can get through to them. My friend, today, if you could look into my heart, you would find that I'm so deeply grateful for the ministry of Running to Win. God has blessed us. This ministry has expanded during the past few years, and we continue to expand. Recently, we signed a contract to go into 3 more languages, and we can do that because God has seen fit to bless this ministry. And from my heart, I want to thank the many of you who pray for us, who support us financially, and this happens to be the end of our fiscal year. Would you consider helping us? Here's what you could do. Go to rtwoffer.com or call us at 1-888-218-9337. I'm going to be giving you that contact info again, but I want to tell you that it is because of the faithfulness of God's people that Running to Win continues to expand around the world, not only in radio, but also with a digital presence. Thank you. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your help. Go to rtwoffer.com or call us at 1-888-218-9337. Perhaps I already mentioned that your gift will be doubled. It's an opportunity to bless us, but more importantly, to bless people around the world. rtwoffer.com or call us at 1-888-218-9337.
It's time now for another chance for you to ask Pastor Lutzer a question about the Bible or the Christian life. Melissa lives in Florida and left us this question on our website, moodymedia.org. I met a married woman while traveling recently. At the end of our visit, she told me she was pregnant and did not want kids, so she was going to abort the baby. I was devastated and did not know what to say. I tried to gently ask, "Are you sure?" I shared my experience about a friend who regretted getting a divorce. But I could see I was not going to change her mind. We exchanged contact information, and I still feel obligated to say more to her. But I don't know if I should or what to say. Any advice on what to do?
Melissa, first of all, I want to commend you for trying to help this woman to understand that to abort this baby would be wrong, destructive, and also something that I'm sure she would come to regret. So thank you for the effort that you made. In terms of more to say, there is all kinds of material that you can give to her that shows actually that babies, even in the womb, feel pain, and to help her to understand that we're dealing here biblically with a human being. This is not a small decision on her part. And if she's married, what is standing in the way between her and having this child? What value is she placing on her own lifestyle, on work, whatever excuse she may be using? Help her to try to understand the importance of this decision and why human life is so critical. Now, if at the end of the day she is not willing to investigate this and she's not willing to listen, well then we have laws in this country today that allow her to abort the child. But I believe that she'll come to regret it, because the minute a woman is pregnant, she knows that she is a mother. And this woman knows that she's a mother, whether she aborts the baby or not. So thanks for your help in trying to enable her to see a broader, more biblical perspective. I hope that you'll be successful.
A word of wise counsel from Dr. Erwin Lutzer. Thank you, Dr. Lutzer. If you'd like to hear your question answered, go to our website at rtwoffer.com and click on Ask Pastor Lutzer, or call us at 1-888-218-9337. That's 1-888-218-9337. You can write to us at Running to Win, 1635 North LaSalle Boulevard, Chicago, Illinois, 60614. Running to Win is all about helping you find God's roadmap for your race of life. Pastor Erwin Lutzer has brought part 1 of Becoming Like God, the 15th message in his series, Between Heaven and Earth, taken from Ephesians. Next time, some concluding lessons on our obligation to come out of the darkness into the love and light of God. This is Dave McAllister. Running to Win is sponsored by the Moody Church.
KOYT, good morning. Running to Win, all about finishing well. We're doing that with this great teaching from Pastor Erwin Lutzer. Every morning here at KOYT, we go through Ephesians, and a great start to your morning here. Thursday morning, the 31st of August. I'm Peter Benson, Family Life Today. Going to tackle the whole area of loneliness, but a good solution from Drew Hunter coming up on Family Life Today. And it's focused on the family, 7 o'clock this morning. More
Because God says in Genesis chapter 9, I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be a sign of the covenant between me and earth. And the earth includes me and you, friend. If you're having a tiring day, open your eyes to his wonders, because he's ever present in all your days.
We're beginning a study in the very practical and challenging book of James on Truth for Life. James addresses issues within the church like quarreling, double-mindedness, the active and passive elements of submitting to God. Learn how to live a godly life in an ungodly world this week on Truth for Life with Alistair Begg.
Weekdays at 12:30 p.m. on KLYT.
Check this verse. Just lean in and soak it up. Psalm 27, verse 1. A psalm of David. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? How good is that? This is KLYT, the light of New Mexico.
We are, in some ways, the most connected generation ever. Social media and the internet and ways of connecting over text messages and phone calls. I mean, never have people been able to connect this quickly with this many people. And yet, we are the most disconnected generation as well.
Welcome to Family Life Today, where we want to help you pursue the relationships that matter most. I'm Shelby Abbott, and your hosts are Dave and Ann Wilson. You can find us at FamilyLifeToday.com or on the Family Life app.
This is Family Life Today. Did you have a best friend growing up?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I literally thought, the first thing that came to my mind, Marty Jordan.
You've had so many friends. You always have a friend. You didn't have a best friend?
Well, I mean, I was in New Jersey, and then Mom got divorced, and I ended up in Ohio, and Marty Jordan was one of my best friends all the way through college, and then he passed. You don't even know Marty.
I met him.
And I know that his mom listens.
Oh.
Yeah, I've gotten direct messages every once in a while from his mom.
I feel like you're unusual in that you've always had really good friends. My dad and my brothers, I have two brothers and my dad, they were really good friends with one another, but they really didn't have many friends. And so I thought you were really unique because you had so many male
I do
friends.
remember when Jim, your brother's son, came up for a while, like a week, and stayed with us in Michigan. Remember what he said?
Yeah.
He goes, you have guys coming over like every other day. I've never seen anything quite like that.
Yeah, people are walking in the door all the time. What's going on?
And I love that. So today we're talking about friendship. Obviously, we've got Drew Hunter in the studio. I guess you're the expert on friendship?
I don't know if I call myself an expert, but I've thought about it a lot and care about it a lot and want to help other people think and care about it.
Well, I mean, you've done a lot of thinking on a topic a lot of people don't do a lot of thinking on. Your book is called Made for Friendship, the relationship that halves our sorrows and doubles our joys. So I'll ask you what Ann just asked me. You have a best friend growing up?
I did, although I think as you were talking, I was thinking about two that were probably both my best friends. So Derek and Brett, I grew up in northern Illinois when I was younger, and they were in my neighborhood, and we had a lot of woods around us, so we just spent a lot of time growing up as friends, and there's some just goofy pictures of us, and so, yeah.
How about today?
I think if I was to say one person was my best friend, it'd be my brother Trent, who's become closest friend. But I kind of intentionally don't think about someone as a best friend. So I have several that are close, and just, at least for me, I don't want to pick one over others. I have several that I'm really close to and have unique relationships with, and so.
And when you say that as a woman, you're afraid that it's going to hurt your other friends' feelings. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Drew, you're married and you have 4 sons.
Yep.
You're a pastor. Let me ask you.
I think it's pretty quiet right here for you right now.
Very
I'm
quiet.
guessing your house
Share
isn't
the
quite like
ages.
Yeah,
this.
this is
Share the
different.
ages of your boys.
Sure, 12, 11, 10, and 6.
Bam.
3 in a row. 3 years in a row you had a baby. Your wife, you guys should get some
You need friends.
applause. You need friends.
In fact, I think my 6-year-old just turned 7, and I got the age wrong. My wife's probably
Seriously?
noting it. Yeah.
I do that all the time. She gonna correct
There's
you.
so many.
There's so many.
There's so many.
But is that important? Do you want
wisdom to pick your friends well, because you become like your friends. And we see that happening in their life already, and so we want them to have good friends, to be good friends, and to think about that growing up.
Why'd you write about this?
A few reasons. So when I first started thinking about the topic, it was about probably 12 or 13 years ago now, and I was teaching through Proverbs, and I sat down with the book. What are the most prominent themes in Proverbs? And I'll collect what Proverbs says about it and teach on those themes. And I was not expecting friendship to be part of the list. I was expecting money, words, right, from reading through Proverbs over the years. But I had just not seen just how significant friendship was in particular. So even relationships, I was thinking about loving people, loving your neighbor, marriage relationships, those kinds of things. But I was struck by how many very specific and striking things Proverbs said about friendship. So I started to study it. And then as I was studying that week, it drew me to John 15, where Jesus calls his disciples friends. And I just realized, my goodness, I've read this who knows how many times. So I have a category for it at some level, but I have not really taken this as seriously and internalized this as I should. So that week was really pivotal for me. And then after that, I just kept thinking about friendship. And so I had friends growing up through my life. I valued friendships, but I realized I've not really thought about it or thought about it deeply. I think that week I realized, like, I've never spent 5 straight minutes thinking intentionally about this. I've read books about marriage and parenting now, but never read anything on friendship, never had conversations or heard lectures or sermons directly on friendship. So I started talking to people about this and realized their experience was the same, and that we all really value friendship, but we realized after thinking about it, I had one friend who said to me, I was talking about this, and after we started talking for a few minutes, he said, I'm a really lousy friend. And that's common. And I disagreed with him because he's one of my friends. He's a great friend. But we do realize that without intentionality, there are gaps in our lives here. So those are a few things. And then over time, why it ended up being a book is because just noticing that there really weren't at the time many resources at all from a biblical Christian perspective on friendship. And so it seemed to be lacking. And then we're in, and we continue to be in, a steep decline in just experiencing friendship. Plenty of studies show that. So all those things came together to create the need for this book a few years ago.
I've talked to so many wives, and we'll talk about our friendship, and we'll talk about our husband's friendship, and I can't tell you how many wives say, my husband says he doesn't need any friends, and I'm his only friend, and I'm the only friend that he needs. Have you heard that before, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking earlier that 30 years of preaching, I bet I did a message or two a year on friendship or community, and, sort of made for friendship, made for community. And I remember a stat, I tried to find it years ago, that there's a study done of American men. And if I'm remembering it right, it said 9 out of 10 American men say they do not have one true friend.
Wow.
They have a lot of acquaintances, work buddies. And it's interesting, the study went on to say when they were boys, they had friends. But as they grew into men and got involved in their lives and marriages and things, it's not something the average American guy, I don't know what compares to other men around the world, but in America, we go, but often don't have a real, what we call a real friendship. Did you find that as well?
Yeah. In fact, I remember someone making a joke at one point when I was talking about friendship. He said, we have this newly found miracle of Jesus. He had 12 close friends in his 30s.
Wow.
So because it's just so rare. We have it early in life. If you go to college can often be a pressure cooker for friendship because you have so many overlapping spheres of life where the people you go to church with or in ministry with or at class with or where you live, they overlap. And then we get out of college and then we move around, and there's so many factors that lead to it, but we end up friendless. So a lot of studies are showing those kinds of statistics where they'll just interview a lot of people and find out that, Cigna Health Insurance did a study a number of years ago. And they found that half of people would say that their relationships aren't really meaningful to them. And something like 40% said that no one really knows them at all, which is another way of saying they don't actually have a friend, right? Or even a family member they consider that closely. So 40% are saying, candidly, no one really knows me.
So why is it important? Like, teach us. You've done all this study, and I think wives are like, this is important, and I want my husband to hear it. Why?
Wait. Why are we talking just about my husband to hear it? You don't think women need to hear it as well?
Yeah, I think we do too, and I think women are lonelier than they have been in the past too, and we all get so busy. that are, we're taking care, you guys know, we're taking care of our
Yeah.
kids, we're going to church, we're in our jobs, and we think, like, do we have enough time for
Right.
friends? I'm just talking about the women that I know and talk to.
Mm-hmm.
They feel bad for their husbands, so I'm going to hit the husbands a little
Okay,
bit.
hit
Yeah.
the husbands.
Yeah, it certainly is an issue for both genders and in different ages and spheres of life. So there's a lot of angles that you can look at friendship to see our need for it. If you just start at the page 1 of the Bible, you see our need for it. So God creates this wonder world, and he creates these different realms of sky, land, sea, fills it with communal life, gets to the 6th day and creates humanity, and he makes humanity in his image, and then they're called to go fill the world with communal, fruitful life and joy. That's the commission for Adam and Eve to do, to fill the world with human society and friendship. But what's interesting in those first pages of the Bible is that God says he makes humanity in his own image. And he speaks of himself in the plural. Let us make man in our image. Now, we don't explicitly see the Trinity there, but we see that God is a plurality. It doesn't take long reading the Bible. We find out Father, Son, and Spirit have made humanity in the image then of a triune God. So before there was creation or any men or women, there was God, Father, Son, and Spirit as an eternal fellowship of love. And so God, Richard Sibbes, Puritan, put it this way. He said that God has a spreading goodness. So he spreads his goodness, which means he didn't create anything because he had a lack or a need, but because he wanted to share the fullness of his life and blessing. And so he creates humanity in his image, the image of a communal God, not because he needed us, but because he wanted to bless us. And one of the blessings is to be made in the image of a God who loves fellowship and community, this triune God of love. And so humanity's made with this need to experience the fullness of joy in community with God and with one another. So we see that just on page 1. And then even in chapter 2 rewinds into the 6th day of creation to talk about how that actually happened. So when you read the first story of creation in Genesis 1, you see that God made humanity, Adam and Eve. Everything's very good. And then Genesis 2 rewinds into that day and then shows the process. He started with Adam. So he started just with one, and Eve's not made yet. And so he says to Adam, or says about Adam, it is not good that man should be alone. And
One is the loneliest number.
That's right.
It's that kind of
Yeah.
concept.
Yeah. And so what's so striking about that